just taking a step back, I saw the prompt on Substack, and I got into, this hobby obsession, spending of time. Um, about the time my son was born in 2012, and I realized that basically every major American event or the or can be traced through his line, whether King Philip's War, World War II, Civil War, Emancipation, Great Northern Migration, like it all runs through him. And I have a long line of ancestors who were, family historians, and luckily I've gotten a lot of their materials throughout the years, but a lot more went into that than went out. And so it's like if I'm going to do this, I want to be publishing, I want to be sharing, I want my family to be able to really follow along with me. So when I saw the prompt, it really struck me, and um, we've a long history of DAR and uh, the revolutionary ancestors, and um, really on my dad's side, especially. My great grandmother was highly involved. She was in Wisconsin, in the organization. She joined in 1904. But on my mom's side, they've always been loyalists. And I didn't want to write about the soldiers. I've got at least a dozen soldiers that we could write about, and they're all interesting, and there's nothing wrong with that. But kind of like, Diane and I wanted to look at this a little differently, and I found Israel, who I think highlights one of my favorite group of these these revolutionary ancestors. Um, at the time of the Revolutionary War, 1777, he is of no value militarily, right? And this revolution is being fought for him. He is a white landed gentleman who is well established and, in his mid 50s. And, and so as I started looking into it, obviously the first thing that dawned on me is, the name. He's the great grandson of Miles Standish. So there's some notoriety there. But looking at it and really sort of and he's about the same age I am now. And so he risked everything to sign his name to this piece of paper. And I think a lot of the patriots that we see um, are they're almost as many are doing it for active service versus actual military service. And so I was intrigued by that. And as I dug in, this really is a history hobby, right? I mean, obviously names, dates, birth, marriage, death. But yeah, I knew nothing about the British prison camps, right? And the prison, the prison ships, and um, I had no idea of, why was he signing? What was this? Like what was going on? And at the time, I mean, the 1777 in Connecticut, Boston had just withstood the siege. New York was completely dominated, by the crown. Um, you know, everything north was still at risk. And, for him to stand up and say, look, we got to do. And I think what's most interesting, what really struck me was he didn't write the crown. He didn't write the people in power. He wrote the newly formed, congressional Congress delegation for Connecticut. He invested in this notion of an American body that would, do things, and said, look, we demand you go to the British and negotiate something for our sons who are being held in these horrible, conditions. And so, yeah, it was fantastic, fascinating to read that. It was also nice that on my mom's side, uh, who have long been, painted as loyalists, and there's definitely, several loyalists over there. But I did have the reaction of aunts and uncles, like, wait, I'm DAR. I was like, yes, you are definitely DAR, right? So it was nice to get to tell that story. It's a great prompt and a great opportunity to take that history that's been locked away forever and to bring it out to, everybody of this generation. And hopefully 100 years from now, when the next family historian, starts to take the dust off of everything that's been written, this is a story that they can continue forward on.